Hi, my name is Sparcy, and I'm going to tell you a story about a basic game that I wrote when I was a kid. It all started when visiting some of my cousins, and we were playing on their Tandy 1000 computer, and they had a copy of a game called Digger. We hadn't actually seen it before, and it sort of grew into a family favorite whenever we visited them. Now, Digger wouldn't work on our PCs. We did actually try running it. Our PC was too fast because we had a 386 SX, and it basically wouldn't display Digger on our machine. And when we did get the display to work, it was way too fast, so we couldn't play it. So I got it into my young head that I wanted to actually try and make my own Digger. Of course, being so young and without the programming knowledge, I couldn't really do that. But let's just take a quick look at the original game so we can see what it looks like. Not copying Steve Benway at all there. Okay, let's get into it. Oh, I'm really bad at this game, incidentally. I'm not entirely sure why, but I just am. It could have something to do with doing silly things like that. But I did actually manage to finish the first level. Yay! Ah, this brings me back. Oh, go on. Oh no! Oh, oh no. I've sort of dug myself into a corner. There's too many different ways for them to get at me. Which means that they can chase me any way they like and get me. Yeah, like that. Anyway, at least my very short bad playthrough will lead us back to my program faster. Oh, I'm actually having some luck. You'd almost think I knew what I was doing. I definitely don't. And there's the proof. One upside of my own games is that they are easier. So let's go and take a look at them. The very first one that I wrote, well, it's flickery, so if you have epilepsy, you might want to turn away. It's basically down to bad programming and me not understanding animation at the time. But we'll have a quick look. It's not a particularly good incarnation of any game, really. Yes, I really missed an opportunity here to use the smiley face for the character. Um, I pretty much use a smiley face for all the characters in later text games, but yeah, this is basically a horrible random mess. It kind of works in some ways, but it also really doesn't. So that was my first attempt. Not great, but the first attempt was was really just sort of trying things out, and I hadn't learnt enough about Basic yet to really do anything really substantial. The second attempt really was much better, and I wrote it a year later when I was 13. So let's just take a look at that. This one includes some music and it's not really great, well animated or smooth, but it does actually play reasonably well. Oh, hang on, loading the wrong one. bad typing it. You'd think I'd never use this, but I have. Okay, here we go. Not the most fancy title screen. In fact, it's, despite the title screen not being very good, it's actually the better version. A little bit of information. Unfortunately, the bad guys do not follow the tunnels. They just come directly at you. So it can't really be called a Digger clone. It was just basically as close as to the original as I can imagine. You go around collecting the asterisks as stars, and the hash symbols are the bad guys. The first few levels are really, really easy, and in fact, you have more lives than you have bad guys, so you can't possibly lose. The later levels are where it gets much harder to dodge them, especially in the initial stages. If you know how to move around, you can actually get them all to bunch up pretty easily, so even then, if you're a bit lucky, you can get away with it. Let's just play for a little bit here. You may notice that the game sort of jerks if the characters and Moneybag only really move once every second. That's because I hadn't learned how to use the better timer routines in Basic. Something which comes in later games that I wrote. I really could have written better music for this, but I'm loath to change it now. Okay, well, I suppose that is a quick look at my old Basic game. I'm gonna keep playing this until I die, which will probably be around level 6 or 7. There's a few other features that I might try to make work. Like the dollar sign there that's falling through the sky. You can actually catch that for extra points. Or if you can get it to land on the bad guys, you can get even more points. It's trickier than actually getting it to happen in the proper game, because well, there's a lot more places for the money bag to fall down, and it's unpredictable. It's completely random. And sometimes it doesn't line up with where your character can be, because your character moves 2 spaces at a time. You can only actually be on even squares. Oh, there's getting to be more dudes now. Now, for a 12-year-old, like, for a 13-year-old me, this was actually a not bad little game. You can see that there's no flickering. Everything moves reasonably smoothly. So, you know, it was an achievement despite its shortcomings. Hey, I managed to actually hit the money bag once with me. Notice it keeps falling anyway. That's an oversight on my part. I probably should have caught it and had it disappear or move somewhere else. At this point it might be best to leave it there, and next time we'll take a look at another GWBasic game, or perhaps another game that I'm playing.